Hey, it's Jenna from Sweet Mom Bod. Welcome to your stretching video. If you have diastasis, one thing that you have to consider is it's not just about strengthening the muscles. There's so much talk about you gotta get your transfers strong, you gotta pull the both sides of your rectus abdominis, your six-pack ab muscles, you gotta get them back together, so you gotta do all these strengthening exercises. But one thing that you have to consider is that you want to think about your diastasis like an open coat. And if you have someone pulling on either side of that coat and you're trying to zip it up, it's going to be a little bit challenging or a lot of it challenging to zip that coat up. And this is what's happening when you have tight muscles around or really in any area of your body, because our body is totally connected. Tight calf muscles can actually give you a headache. That's how connected our body is. So we want to lengthen, get some more flexibility in there so that it's a lot easier for you to zip up that hypothetical coat. Cool beans? Cool beans. Okay, let's get started. We're going to do 6 stretches. I'm going to hold them for about 20 to 30 seconds-ish. You can feel free to hold them for longer if you want. I wouldn't recommend shorter. You definitely want to hold for at least 20 seconds a stretch, but definitely feel free to pause the video and hold for longer. You'll need a couple pieces of equipment. It's a stretch video, right? So you're not going to need a ton. I'm going to recommend that you grab yourself either a stability ball or a chair. Chair works great too. One of those. And grab yourself some towels or blankets too, okay? You'll see what this is all about in a minute here. So let's start nice and simple. Coming down onto your back. Now, if you're working on healing diastasis, it's really important that when you're coming down onto your back, you're not going into this down crunch kind of position here where you're coming up or going down as if you're doing a crunch. What we want you to do is we want you to come, roll over onto your side, and then come onto your back. Because remember, with diastasis, we don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on that linea alba, on the connective tissue in between the two sides of your rectus abdominis, and the crunch up or backward crunch down is gonna do that. So in those initial stages of healing, we're going to want to avoid those kinds of movements or be very mindful when we're doing those kinds of movements. So let's start on our back on the floor. You can extend your legs out there. You're just going to bring one leg up and then cross it over your body until you feel a nice stretch. What you can do is have your towel or blanket handy, and you can roll it up and put it underneath that knee and rest it on that knee there. So it's a little bit more comfortable. You want to feel a nice stretch through the hip into the butt. You might even feel it going into your back a little bit. Try to keep that opposite shoulder on the ground as you're twisting there. And you're just going to breathe and enjoy the nice stretch. You can play around with the placement of how high up your knee is or how low down your knee is. That's going to change the stretch a little bit. So play around with it. Stay in the area that feels quite tight, like the tightest, and then you can always move around as well throughout that stretch. Excellent. A couple more seconds here. Excellent. Good. And then, of course, we're going to want to switch sides. So you can take your blanket with you or towel with you and go to the other side. Again, keeping that one leg long, you're going to rotate over to the other side, keeping that opposite shoulder on the ground there. Just relax and release. Something that you might find is that one side of your body is going to be a little bit tighter than the other. That's really common, especially if you're used to carrying your kiddo or kiddos on one side of the body over the other. Avery, my daughter, she prefers the right. She actually will monkey climb from the left to the right. Like she'll grab onto my t-shirt or whatever and try to pull herself over to the right side of my body. And so a lot of times I just find myself carrying her on my right side, which means that I have more tightness and more strength in one side of my body than the other. So I always like to do some stretching and some strengthening to help balance that out. Good. Hold for a couple more seconds here. Excellent. And just breathe into it. This shouldn't be painful. It shouldn't be any kind of like, I can barely hold it. Just stretch it to the point where you feel it. You can start to feel some gentle release in there, but you're not like ramming your leg over and like really trying to give her. That's not what we're going for here. Excellent. Good. Now we're going to come into crescent. So you stay on your back. I'm just going to come up so I can show you what kind of shape we're going for with crescent. With crescent, it's like a crescent moon. And so we want to come in that kind of crescent-like shape, like that with our body. So coming onto our backs, or you staying on your back, most likely, unless you're a rebel and you don't like to listen, you're going to shift your shoulders and upper body over to the right slightly and walk your feet over to the right so that you get that crescent moon shape with your body. And we're just going to chill out here. For more of a challenge, you can cross that one foot over top of the other there. And we're just going to hold, breathe into it. For this one, you should feel the stretch through the side of your thigh up into the side of your body, most likely. You can also keep your hands where they are, or you can bring them up overhead, grab one arm, and gently pull for more of a stretch. And just breathe into it. Excellent. Let's switch sides, shall we? So gently releasing, relaxing there. We'll scooch our upper body over to the other side, walk our feet over to the other side, cross ankles if that feels good. Bring those arms up and gently pull. Emphasis on gently. Remember, we're not going for really pull, 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 challenge, challenge, challenge. This is supposed to feel good and relaxing and nice. You don't want to feel any pain. You're just breathing into it. This is a really good opportunity. You may not have the luxury of doing this without your kiddo. Your kiddo might be trying to climb all over you right now, which is totally fine. I get it. Been there. Avery thinks that stretching time or workout time when she's up when I'm working out is like playtime. Climb on, mom. Mom's the jungle gym. But hopefully every once in a while you get some alone time and get to just enjoy. Good. Fantastic. How did that feel? Good? Good. Okay, let's do an inner thigh stretch. So at this point, you're going to want to grab your towels or blankets, whatever you have, and set them up a little bit apart because we're going to rest our knees on them there. So again, coming down onto your side, rolling over onto the back there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna stick the bottoms of our feet together and just relax our legs out. And you can prop the towels or blankets underneath your knees so that they feel nice and supported and your inner thighs get that stretch without feeling like you're like falling out of it. It's a bit painful, too much stretching in there kind of thing. And we also don't want to get overly aggressive with our arch in the back. If you feel like you're in like this kind of position, you're really pushing your chest out, you can grab one more towel or blanket and put it underneath your shoulders and head so that you can get into more of a neutral position. You're not flaring those ribs out, ribs are dropped down. And we're just gonna breathe into it, just like the other ones, letting the inner thighs release and relax there. Now at this point you might be thinking, okay, I get how a couple of these stretches might be related to diastasis, but really, like, how are my inner thighs related to diastasis? And remember that every part of our body is connected, and so we want to stretch the entire body to help heal that diastasis. So that's what this workout or this stretching video is all about, is stretching our entire body, helping to release any tightness anywhere that could be potentially contributing to our diastasis and impeding any kind of healing progress that we're making. Good, fantastic. Couple more seconds. One last nice exhale. Fantastic. Good. Letting those blankets, those towels go, coming onto the side, rolling up. We're gonna go into a seated twist. So you can do this in a chair, you can do this kneeling, you can do this cross-legged. Play around with the different options, see what feels good for you. Today I'm gonna do it cross-legged. So I'm making sure that I'm sitting on my sit bones, my actual bones that I should be sitting on, not the fleshiest part of my butt. So my butt isn't tucked under. I'm actively kind of pulling that fleshy bit apart so that I'm sitting on the boniest part there. Cool? Cool. And what we're going to do is do a seated twist. It's exactly like it sounds. So what you can do is you can cross one arm over and grab the knee, grab the side of the leg if you're kneeling or sitting in a chair, and we're just going to gently twist. Staying tall, we're not aggressively thrusting the girls out there, dropping those ribs down so that they're more neutral over top of the pelvis, so they're not getting too thrusty there. And we're just gonna feel a gentle stretch throughout our side body. You might feel it up into your back, maybe even into some tightness in your upper back shoulder area here as well. And as per usual, we're just gonna breathe. Breathe through it. Not muscling our way, not aggressively twisting, just nice and gentle. Good. And feel free when you're doing this to put on your own music, something that you find relaxing, something that makes you feel good, whatever you like to do. I don't always like to put music on because I feel like you have the taste that you know that you want, and so you should be able to choose the music. So go ahead and do that. Good. One more breath. Excellent. Good. Let's switch sides. Oh. This is one of those ones where I can definitely feel the difference between the two sides of my body. So maybe you're feeling that too, a little bit more tight in one side of the body than the other. Remembering with those ribs that we don't want to aggressively puff the chest. We don't want to feel any pinching in our back. We just want to stay tall without thrusting. And we'll breathe through it. Excellent. And again, if you're on your knees or you're sitting in that chair, you're just going to be doing the exact same thing. Just holding on to the side of the leg and rotating. Just like that. Good. Come back to center. How are you feeling? Things starting to loosen up? Good. Okay, we've got two more and then you're good to go, my friend. So let's go into the hip flexor. Now, so you're going to come up as if you're going to propose. That's kind of the stance that we want to take. So you have one foot in front of the other there, the other leg behind. You don't want to just like let it go. I see this a lot in the hip flexor where people are like, I'm just going to really relax into it. We want to have a little bit of tension in there. You should still feel a stretch, but we still want to maintain some tension in that leg that we're stretching there. And you should feel that stretch through the front of your thigh and maybe even into your stomach area there. If you're liking this, you want to stay here. That's fantastic. Another option is that you can lean towards the knee that is bent if you want. You can even bring that one arm up and just kind of droop it over your head there to get a bit more into the side body as well as the front of that thigh there. One thing that this stretch does that not a lot of people know about is it also is good at stretching the psoas, which gets into a bit more into the pelvis there, a bit of a deeper muscle there, which is really nice. Good, excellent. Let's switch sides. So bring that other knee up into that proposal position there, relaxing into it. And if you want, you can bring that one arm up and get that side bend there as well. Good, a couple more breaths. Fantastic. Good job. Okay, last stretch that we're going to do. You're going to grab your stability ball or your chair, and we're going to do all the way up through the back side of the body, the posterior chain stretch. So come stand on up, and what you're going to do is either holding on to the seat of the chair or balancing your hands on that stability ball there. You're going to take your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart. Focus on actively untucking the butt so we're not getting into this tucked under rounded back kind of position there. Trying to untuck the butt as best as possible. We're going to relax the arms straight onto the chair or the stability ball and then just release into it. Your arms are doing a similar thing that you would be doing if you're familiar with child's pose. You're just stretching those arms long, getting into the shoulders, the back there. And you should feel a nice stretch through the back part of the legs, into the glutes, into the back. This is just such a nice stretch for the back part of the body. And remembering to relax as best as you can so you're not scrunching your shoulders up by your ears. We want to get that release, so actively try to stretch those shoulders down there. If you're using a stability ball, you can also kind of roll a bit side to side to see how it feels in certain angles, gets things a little bit differently there. Hold for a couple more seconds. Fantastic. You are done, my friend. I hope that felt great. I hope that you feel nice and relaxed, lengthen, open, flexible, all those nice things. If you have any questions about any of the movements, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to help, and I will catch you soon.